Shalom. Welcome everyone. Satan, Satan in Hebrew. What is the meaning of Satan in the Hebrew Scriptures? This is going to be a very brief video. I do want to tell you that I do have two videos, very well detailed videos on Satan. I recommend if you are curious and want more information, more in depth, please watch those videos. There are two. You can find them. Just type in Satan in my channel. There's two videos. So I'm going to give you a basic rundown of how to understand Satan in Tanakh, in the Hebrew Scriptures. Now, within Christianity, it's very clear Satan is a god over this earth. He's the productive foe, enemy of Elohim, of the Father. He's a rebellious super angel that took legions of angels with him in a team against God, good versus evil. Now, I'll have you know that this is based on paganism, completely pagan. The notion of the good and the evil, the darkness and the light, the yin and the yang, so to speak. This is completely pagan. This has nothing to do with Hebrew theology whatsoever. This is based on the Greek Scriptures, the non-Testament as they call it. Forgive me for saying that. It's the New Testament, the Greek Scriptures. This is pagan in roots. If you look at the Hebrew Scriptures, this is not at all what you find about Satan in the Hebrew Scriptures. Now, to understand what Satan is, first and foremost, we should have a clear description. When does the word first come up, and what does it mean? The first time we hear the word, the term, in Hebrew, I'll let you know where it is. In Numbers chapter 22, in verse 22, the story of Balaam. He's riding on the donkey, going to curse Israel. This is the first time. In verse 22, it says there that Elohim sent one of his melech, his angels, as a Satan. That's the word in Hebrew. It's often translated in the English as adversary. The term Satan in Hebrew stands for, it means basically something that gets in the way, like a roadblock, or something hindering you from moving forward or succeeding. This is how we understand Satan in the Hebrew Scriptures. Because whenever Satan, the individual, is mentioned, he is always mentioned in light of other angels and always does what God says. For example, the best example is in Job, the book of Job. Many times it references Satan, as coming in with the angels, with the sons of God, with the angels. He's among them. He's one of the angels. And he's having a discussion with Elohim. And Elohim is saying, have you noticed my servant Job? He doesn't say, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. Get out of here. Get lost. He asks him, where did you come from? From where did you come from? He says, I went from to and from the earth looking around. God should have said, well, go back to where you came from. Shouldn't he? He's a bad guy, right? That's not what God says. God says to him, continues his conversation. He says, have you noticed my servant Job, who is righteous in everything he does? And Satan legitimately says, he's only good to you, I'm paraphrasing here, because he's got a cushy life. You bless the work of his hands. He's got everything. Touch his life and see he will not curse you to your face. And Elohim says, go ahead. Take away all that he has. Only do not harm him physically. He's telling him, giving him orders, what to do and what not to do. Now, if Satan was an independent angel who was against God, he would not be getting orders from God or taking orders. But he does exactly as God says, not once, Not twice, but more than that. Over and over. Whenever this happens, he does not do anything of his own will. God gives him the orders. So, when you look throughout the Hebrew Scriptures, Satan is an angel that is contrary to us moving forward spiritually. Satan is our roadblock. He is the one who tries to hinder us from moving forward spiritually, to build our spiritual muscles. In Judaism, Satan is a blessing. Now, when a Christian hears this, they cringe. They go, "Oh, are you kidding me? Satan is a blessing?" We say, yes, he's a blessing. Why is that? Because without Satan, there would be no free will. There would be no virtue. It wouldn't be a big deal to obey God if there was no Satan to choose between good and evil. We have a choice. Satan is our inner temptation. We have a conscience, a good conscience, and we have Satan who tempts us. We are not forced by some superpower to do evil, where we cannot choose good or evil. No, we have a choice. We see in Genesis chapter 4, verse 7, God tells Cain, his own parents, supposedly in the Christian Bible, messed it up for them. He tells Cain, sin will be crouching at the door. Its desire will be towards you. But you can be its master. You can rule over it. You can conquer sin. That's what Satan is. He's a roadblock. He is a Satan, an adversary, a roadblock. But you can drive through that roadblock. You can go around that roadblock and be righteous before Elohim.